Steph McGovern. In the news this week, in Hartlepool, Keir Starmer's advisors suggest he should move on after chatting for 45 minutes to a patient who had only come in with an ingrown toenail. In Andalusia, there's evidence that a recent spillage of omega-3 oil is having an effect on the brains of local wildlife.
Buenas tardes, perdona, para Bolonia?
And just outside Lisbon, it's the first day of term for the apprentices at the Cristiano Ronaldo football school. On Ian's team tonight is a presenter whose first job was in a factory processing peas until someone finally asked for a vowel. Please welcome Vorderman. On Paul's team tonight is a comedian who has a degree in applied theatre, where they teach you about theatre and also how to apply for temp work. Please welcome Nabil Abdulrashid. Right, we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Carol, have a look at this.
Blimey. He'll be glue soon. There's someone speeding. That's Rishi and his wife.
Yep.
Oh, that's Johnson burying the evidence.
Absolutely.
And look, he's being arrested. So, good news week all round.
What a shower, eh? An absolute shower. I can't believe they're our government. I mean, Boris Johnson is like a dose of diarrhoea that keeps on giving, is he not? Just every single time. Every time you switch on the news, he's still there. How does this happen?
I think it's something to do with the system. As Carol says, it's not been a good week for the government, and poor old Rishi Sunak, or not poor, that's just... But whenever he thinks things are getting slightly better, it all blows up again, and Suella Braverman was done for speeding.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, this is the news that Suella Braverman is off the hook for speeding, but Boris Johnson might be back on it again for COVID breaches, although I don't think I want to see Boris's COVID breaches.
I am very interested in this story because everyone says it doesn't matter and so what, it was a speeding thing, but she was Attorney General, which is the person who's sort of in charge of the law, and she asked her civil servants if she could have a one-to-one speed awareness course. And this was on the grounds that she's extremely well known. It would be embarrassing, and I have to say, I did a speed awareness course, and it was unbelievably embarrassing.
So you don't do it again?
So you don't do it again?
Yeah.
I mean, the Archbishop of Canterbury went and sat at the back of his speed awareness course.
He wasn't on the same one as you, was he?
Yeah, of course.
How fast were you going, Ian?
I was doing 24 miles an hour outside IKEA.
I think we should appreciate Suella Braverman while she's here. I mean, yeah, she broke the law as a lawmaker, but I think lawmakers should be allowed to break the laws. Like, every job has its perks. Like, you know, you work at JD Sports, you get a discount. You work at Pizza Hut, you get pizza. You live in Croydon, you learn how to fight. You know, there's these things. I think she's perfect. I think when that children's animation movie about the Tories comes out, she'll make the perfect villain. I think we'll call it 101 Allegations, you know?
I mean, that's fair enough, but I think allegations suggest she's not guilty. So it's 101 damnations.
Very good. Just a quick question, though. Do you shop in IKEA?
Yeah, I was actually trying to get into IKEA, largely for these spaghetti meatballs, which are extremely good. But no, I was caught. You know, I went there.
Yeah.
The bloke was making jokes at my expense. The leader, very amusing. And on our speed awareness course, there was one girl who just wouldn't admit it. And we were there about 4:30, and all of us were saying, just say you're guilty. No, she said the signs were too small.
So, what's Boris Johnson done now, allegedly?
Well, the suggestion is that he broke COVID regulations not only in his London flat, but also at Chequers, at his country house, which is a big shock to me, because I thought he would break the rules in one place and keep them in the other. And now he said, I don't want the public paying for those lawyers, I'm going to pay for my own. You think, too late, mate.
No, he's not going to pay for them.
No,
We're paying for a different set of lawyers. Oh, right.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the government-appointed ones. He wants to appoint his own, but where the taxpayer still pays for them.
Right, is it Better Call Saul?
Yeah, something like that. So he held gatherings at Chequers, which were against the COVID restrictions in place at the time, which was between June.
He's denied this, though, which means it's true.
Sources told The Times that the alleged breaches involved Johnson's family as well as his friends, although a source close to Johnson denied this. Then Rachel Johnson stepped in to help. She told LBC, all the rules were followed whenever I went to Chequers. No further questions, my lads.
I think Sunak's a little bit pissed off because he wasn't invited.
So how did this all come about then?
Essentially, he got shot by his own people. I mean, the public, you are paying for Boris's defence. And as part of the defence, he handed over his diaries, and the people looked, blimey, look what he was doing then. And they reported him to the police.
Yeah, isn't it like...
Everybody is worried that as soon as you get near Boris, you get fired and you lose your job and life falls apart and you end up in a gutter. Apart from the chairman of the BBC, obviously.
It is time, though, to pull up the deck chair and get out the popcorn, isn't it? I mean, once his WhatsApps start to be revealed, just like the Matt Hancock stuff, amazing.
They are. Supporters of Boris have complained about stitch up and smear.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a firm of solicitors, doesn't it?
Gynecologist.
See, I thought that, but I didn't want to say it.
I was there with you, but I thought, no.
No.
I wouldn't want to see that on television.
Absolutely not.
This is the BBC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've actually got my muff out on telly and done a
beg your
live
pardon?
smear test. It got me a BAFTA nomination, actually.
This isn't Channel 4 lunchtime now, you know.
There are people watching.
Here we go.
Are you going to take that?
This is it. The shit is hitting the fan now, love. Right. What has Boris Johnson called the Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden, who is, of course, in charge of the Cabinet Office? What's he called him?
A pussyo.
It'd be one of his nicknames.
Oh, God, not an old... Is he an old Etonian as
Oliver
well, Dowden?
I don't think he is.
Is he not?
No, I think he went to another public school.
Oh, did he? It's the same lot, isn't it, really?
No, they're not all... We're not... They're not all... the same by any means, Carol, honestly.
He called him a compliant tool of the blob. Who's the blob?
The blob is anyone who opposes Boris.
Oh, are we?
What else are Boris's enemies supposed to be holding up?
Is it banners?
No. Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Tell us.
His resignation honours list. So Nabil Doris and a few other MPs have been told they can't wait until the next election. Will have to give up their seats as MPs to take up their ladyships, which means there could be at least 3 by-elections.
I'm sorry, I grew up in Nigeria, right? I'm Nigerian. I grew up in Nigeria, so for me, by-election just means that votes are on sale. What exactly?
It's when an MP leaves their position for whatever reason, they then have to vote in another MP for that constituency, and it's called a by-election.
We're a couple of years behind Nigeria in terms of corruption.
Yeah, I mean, the boys back home are actually quite proud of your progress. You know, you've got... This is the most welcome I've ever felt in this country.
Your old mate, Michelle Moan's, still got her peerage, hasn't she?
Oh, where do we begin?
You were friends, weren't you?
Huh?
Because you've said a few things publicly, though, about it, haven't you? About
Yes,
her.
I have. And to be honest, it just is the very worst thing that anyone could do is to profiteer from the first lockdown. It's absolutely disgusting, but None of it, and a lot of evidence. But a lot of evidence has been put forward now, and the National Crime Agency raided her and her husband's homes, offices and everything. We're a year on, and nothing has been done. It's insulting and disgusting that nothing has happened either way, frankly.
What was that you were saying about being behind Nigeria, bro?
I take it back. We're way ahead. Way ahead.
Yeah, the government are suing a company that Michelle Munn's linked to for £130 million over unusable PPE. The BBC flew Chris Mason halfway around the world to the G7 summit to ask Rishi Sunak a question. What was it?
About Suella Braverman, wasn't it?
Yeah, should we have a look?
Yeah.
Spice and BBC News. Will you ask the Independent Adviser on Ministers' Interests to look into your Home Secretary's conduct after she asked civil servants to help her deal with being caught speeding? And do you have full confidence in Suella Braverman?
Did you have any questions about the summit?
Oh, he's obviously in a bad mood there, isn't he? Wasn't happy with that.
But he appointed her Home Secretary. He didn't have to. She was part of the failed Liz Truss experiment. He's had plenty of chances to sack her, but he just doesn't dare do it.
What I love, or don't, is that Sunak's there. He is currently under investigation, is he not? Because of his wife's shares in the childcare company, which was recommended by the government in their new policy. I mean, it just goes... The layers are almost Nigerian. They really are.
They're like Ghana level right now, but if they want to... Get in this.
What does Rishi Sunak lose every day?
It's vast amounts of money, because he's fallen down in the Sunday Times Rishi list, as it's known. And he and his wife are losing a small amount of money through, I believe it's Infosys.
Yeah, correct.
And that's the stuff that she was dodging tax on because of declaring
I think we call it
non-dom status.
avoiding.
Yes.
But she's never offered to pay back the 20 million that she could have paid since he became a Member of Parliament. So I call that dodging.
I mean, it's in the past. You need to move.
Yeah, Rishi loses $500,000 every day. So the Rishis are down to their last $500 million, unbelievably. He was so cross, he punched President Macron in the stomach. More bad news for the government as well. The legal migration figures came out this week. Net migration to the UK last year was 606,000 people. It's gone up quite a lot. What do you think on this, Nabil? Are you surprised?
Woo, get in there, lads. I love it. You know how many nice takeaways are going to open now from other countries? It's legal immigration, do you say? It wasn't illegal?
No,
legal.
Legal.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the problem? They're doing it legally. What's the problem?
But it's gone up quite a lot. It was about 200,000 a couple of years ago.
Well, just if I refresh memory, 300 years ago, a few people came over to certain countries also, well, not quite legally, I mean, eventually we persuaded them to leave, but they took some stuff, so... As far as I see it, you owe us, so...
There are a lot of Nigerians, aren't there, in those figures?
My friend, why do you like bringing all this small stuff?
I'm just interested.
We're all Nigerians, somehow.
I lived in Nigeria for 4 years.
Did you?
No wonder we have so many problems. You see?
I was between 0 and 4, so... But still, I can still create trouble.
Wow, so you're actually Nigerian?
Technically.
Ah, my guy, chop knuckle, man.
Were you born there then?
No, I left Wales to go to Nigeria.
You're Welsh!
Nigerian.
How many different people that everybody hates do you want to be?
This is the news that Boris Johnson may have broken the rules during lockdown by hosting a series of parties at Chequers, which he insists can't be true, as he was too busy hosting parties at Downing Street. After being caught speeding, Suella Braverman has been fined and was given 3 points. When he became Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak insisted his government would be based on integrity, professionalism and accountability. 3 points Suella hasn't got. Before they were handed over to the inquiry, some of Boris Johnson's more controversial WhatsApp messages were redacted, leading the Metropolitan Police to respond, "What? You can redact them?" Paul and Nabil, have a look at this.
Yes. OK, that's the National Television Awards. This morning's probably winning an award there. And my brother's done what? Yes, so this is this morning where Philip Schofield has had to leave after 20-odd years of presenting the daytime live show.
He had such a decorated career. He was a legend. And then he left. There wasn't like a big hoo-ha about him leaving. Just left like a disgruntled intern.
Yeah.
I hope he stole something before he left, because that's... You just wonder how much more he could have achieved if he didn't rub people the wrong way.
This is the news that Philip Schofield has left ITV daytime show this morning, showing just how quickly a career on daytime television can come to a crashing halt overnight.
I found this story quite difficult to follow since I didn't know who they were.
Or indeed, there was such a thing as daytime TV.
I always imagine it as people talking when someone's hoovering, so it doesn't really matter what they say. You're on it, aren't you?
Well, I do every other Friday, yeah, with Alison and lovely Dermot.
So you're going to take over? Is it going to be Holly and Carol?
No.
Oh.
Probably Holly and Alison, I would have thought.
Is that where your money is?
That's where I put my money, yeah. Would you, Steph?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's always going to be really difficult, isn't it? You know, when there's a bit of rift between a much-loved, long-running TV duo.
Yes, but we don't sit next to each other.
Yeah.
What's the secret to your success as a pair?
We don't talk to each other outside of a recording.
Emergency presenters have been drafted in. Here's how Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary paid tribute to Philip Schofield the day after his departure was announced. And just to be clear, he hadn't died.
Now, we can't start today's show without paying tribute to the man who spent the last 2 decades sitting on the This Morning sofa, Philip Schofield.
So, as a show, everyone on and off-screen at ITV and This Morning want to say a huge thank you for what was done to make the show such a success over the last 21 years.
Is not the thing with people on daytime telly that they give an impression of being incredibly nice? And apparently, Carol, behind the scenes, people aren't very nice. The smiley, lovely, you're the people next door, you're the sit on the sofa and say, would you want to eat this thing, or...
Ian, are you forgetting you've actually been on my show?
Yeah.
And it was daytime.
It was favours.
Yeah, but you did feature in a section called Where Are They Now? When I was on, it was called Where Were They Then?
I love daytime telly, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I love daytime telly too, but I spent time in jail. So, you know...
Should we have a look at what Eamon Holmes had to say about it all?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All of this, of course, follows the big announcement on Saturday from Philip Schofield that he was stepping down.
Oh, stop, please, let's just stop this. He was sacked. Right. All this nonsense about giving him credit. I've decided to step down. I'm sure you did. Sure you did. Here's your P45. Now step down. You know, why do we propagate this language? I've decided to step down. And she says, oh, the couch will not feel the same without him being there. Well, she wanted him not there, so what's she moaning about the couch not feeling the same for? I mean, they deserve each other, I suppose.
So he's now on a show that nobody watches at all. That's GB News, isn't it?
It is GB News, yeah.
Blimey.
Have you ever seen Jacob Rees-Mogg doing his show?
Yes. No.
No.
Yeah, that's...
Only excerpts on this show.
Once I was staying in a hotel where the TV was stuck on GB News and I ended up watching an entire episode. I just got in a trance. I think that's how it...
You must have emptied the minibar, though.
Yeah, I did. Through my eyeballs. I was doing shots. What did TV pundit Piers Morgan have to say about all of this?
Didn't he say that there is what you see on screen is a facade?
Yeah. Piers Morgan was keen to point out that in the world of TV, behind those nicey smiles, lies an abyss of backstabbing and toxic buckets of foul-mouthed manure. The Daily Mail carried out a poll after the news of Philip Schofield's departure. What was the question that they asked their readers?
Who is Philip Schofield?
The Daily Mail asked readers, who do you want to see on the This Morning sofa this week?
Yeah.
And 75% of the 5,569 readers who took part replied, none. I'm sick to the back teeth of the lot of them. Finally, This Morning wasn't the only show on television having problems. Here's the start of a news bulletin on S4C News, which is Channel 4 in Wales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah? See if you can spot the technical glitch.
Yeah.
Mae mwy na 30,000 o gleifion wedi bod yn aros dros 2 flynedd am driniaeth ar y gwasanaeth iechyd. Mae ffigurau sydd newydd...
Not gonna lie, he's a legend for turning like that.
This is the news that Philip Schofield has stepped down from his co-presenting role on This Morning. Holly and Phil have also received a nomination in this year's National Television Awards, presumably for Best Drama. Despite leaving This Morning, Philip has stated that he will continue to present Dancing on Ice alongside Holly Willoughby, and they'll save on the budget because the rink's going to be frozen just by the atmosphere between them. And so to round 2, the strengthometer of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Yeah, Ian?
It's the Chelsea Flower Show.
I thought this was about a shortage of fruit pickers.
Is it Just Stop Oil?
So this is the news that Just Stop Oil protesters have targeted one of the gardens at the Chelsea Flower Show. The garden they targeted was the one designed for wealth manager RBC Brewing Dolphin. What form did the protest take then?
Was it like I know it was orange.
Was it like at the snooker?
Orange powder, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, for God's sake.
No! Stop it!
You bloody moron.
No! Stop!
That is the poshest, whitest thing.
One of them was throwing it over herself.
Yes.
What happened next?
Batman turned up.
Oh, they got arrested and taken away by the police, I should imagine. By the flower squad.
No. Let's find out what happened
No.
next.
Time to face up to the truth! Take your heads out of your pea-free compost and bug hotel! Because they're under attack. Other ways of doing it.
This isn't Chicago, is it? It's not the sort of thing that would happen in America.
Wait.
There'd be at least 15 people dead by now.
So, the person spraying the water on them, were they part of the demonstration?
No.
She's part of the Chelsea Flower Show police, and that's a very small water cannon.
What in the vegan barbecue is going on?
The woman was a visitor.
She was a visitor?
Yeah. She
Well,
was
she was
visiting the
enjoying
event.
looking at the garden, and they were getting in the way, so she hosed them down.
She didn't hose them down, she watered them. Now they're going to grow even bigger.
What did the clean-up operation involve?
More water?
Well, when I was watching that, I thought if she hadn't done the water, they could have just brushed it up and got a Dyson round, like you do when you're watching This Morning.
Dyson is the name of Ian's butler.
Spelt Digby, Featherstone, Houghton.
Right, putting the protest to one side, what's the big debate in the gardening world at the moment?
It's how wild should your garden be? And
Yeah.
should you let lots of weeds in it?
Yes, it is. Whether or not to rewild. Yeah. Alan Titchmarsh isn't keen.
Is he not?
No, arguing that it poses a risk to the skill of gardening.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, if you just leave it?
You mean it could spell the end of Alan Titchmarsh?
Yeah. Do you know that it's no more May?
What does that mean? Don't mow your lawn in May?
Yeah, don't trim your bushes in May. Let it go wild, Carol. Meanwhile, what has Monty Don said he would do if he were king?
Free ganja for everyone.
Send everybody a packet of seeds?
No.
No.
Tell us.
Monty Don wants to ban artificial grass. Anyone here got artificial grass? Have you?
Yeah. It's great.
Oh, you got a boo there for that.
Really?
I think he's got a orange powder in his...
I do.
Fingers on buzzers, teams.
It's Bee Week. It's a week in which we can celebrate bees in all their finery, honey bees, lemon meringue bees.
This is the news that this weekend we celebrated World Bee Day.
Bee Day, oh,
Yeah.
Bee Day, that's unfortunate. 2 days before D-Day.
Kate Middleton was out in the garden, tending to her hive for World Bee Day. Coincidentally, it's the same outfit she wears when she meets Meghan.
Man, even bees don't like her. There's none there.
It's good news for bees, though, because the pests which cause disease can actually be sniffed out by specially trained dogs. He's one of them, very ready, much in action. What is beekeeper Charlotte Blackett offering to guests at her bee therapy retreat in Perthshire?
A massive sting.
Bee sting therapy.
Have you had it?
Do I look? Give it a try.
Well, it's not about stinging. She's opened the first bee therapy retreat where guests sleep on beds above beehives which contain 60,000 bees. And obviously the question is, do they get stung? Well, a 45-minute session costs 80 quid. So I would say the answer is very much yes.
Why not just turn on like an electric toothbrush and put that under your bed? You know, like there's so... You like vibrations? I'm sure there are other things you can use.
Finally, who made an unexpected cameo at a baseball game this week? Think different species.
Oh, a tortoise.
A seagull.
A squirrel.
Yes, a squirrel.
Really?
Yeah. A squirrel took a wrong turn during a Major League Baseball game. Let's take a look at some of the reactions.
Do they not have squirrels in America, judging by the astonished look of those people?
Time now for the odd one out round. Paul and Nabil, your four are Olaf Scholz, Rishi Sunak, footballer Erling Haaland, and Winston Churchill. Think about what Winston Churchill's wearing.
Oh, was that known as a boiler suit, was it?
A siren suit, but...
A siren suit? Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Give us a clue that's more like the answer.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. They've all set fashion trends apart from...
Rishi
Sunak.
Everybody's wearing those white hats these days.
Do you know what? I used to spend so much time in safety gear when I worked at BBC Breakfast. Someone set up a fetish website of Steph in safety gear.
Okay.
Was it you, Paul?
Paid for a holiday.
I love a safety helmet.
Do you?
Oh, I do, yeah. I used to work underground as an engineer, and I had, like, khaki green boiler suit with a khaki green safety helmet. Me and 2,000 men underground it was, yeah.
Did they get out alive?
No.
I'm going to tell you the answer.
Yeah. Good.
They've all set fashion trends apart from German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, whose fashion is so old it's wanted by a museum. The Times reported that the German Chancellor has been carrying around the same leather satchel for 40 years, and now a bid has been put in for it by the House of History. Someone's looked at museum and the thesaurus there, haven't they? If you want to look a bit more like the German Chancellor, the great news is... The great news is that if you travel to his hometown of Hamburg, this man will give you the Olaf Scholz special for under €5.
But that man's clearly modelling the old trick glasses, false nose and moustache.
What fashion trend has Rishi Sunak set then?
I don't know.
Well, while in Japan at the G7, the Prime Minister...
Shoes.
...wore these red socks.
Oh, Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that's
So
what... You see them everywhere.
They've got the logo of Hiroshima's Toya Kart, which is the Japanese Prime Minister's favourite baseball team. Here he is with Rishi. I'm realising that Sunak's just stood on his pet snail. Do you want to see Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada looking a bit stupid?
Yeah.
What's going on here, then? He's obviously trying to make his height the same, isn't he? But it's... do you think he was expecting the picture to be cropped? I mean,
I can sympathise because my wife is 5'1", so like there's a technique. You kind of stand to an angle and you bend your knees. That looks like the floor was slippery and they got.
What has Manchester City footballer Erling Haaland increased the sales of?
He wears a hairband, doesn't he? But that's not it.
It's not that.
No.
Move down the body.
He wears a hairband. I can't stop now.
Is he the one that has his own brand underwear?
It's to do with underwear. So the football striker was recently pictured in the Manchester City changing room alongside Noel Gallagher wearing a pair of white Y-fronts. Here he is. The Daily Star reported that men trying to emulate the Norwegian footballer caused Y-front sales to increase by 45%.
Yes, but how many were they selling? Before that, that could be like they've sold 4.
According to the Science Museum archives, Churchill wore one of his suits to the White House, where the First Lady, Mrs. Roosevelt, declared that she was having one made for her husband. The outfit also inspired baby romper suits, which are one-pieces that allow for easy nappy changes, which is the outfit that the current First Lady, Jill Biden, has had made for her husband. Finally, how has one man made sure he never leaves the house without his favourite fashion item?
Has he had it tattooed onto him?
He has. Blaze Ambrozac from Rochdale has had his favourite pair of Nike trainers tattooed onto his feet. Here they are. All the effort and he's still got a pair that are 2 sizes too small for him. Ian and Carol, your 4 are Alan Sugar, Harrison Ford, a couple on board a Ryanair flight from Mallorca, and Carol Vorderman.
Oh, she looks just like you.
Go on, then.
OK.
Who's the odd one out?
You should know this because it's about you.
Yes. Is that the noise the aeroplane makes?
So Alan Sugar actually flies a plane.
Correct.
Harrison Ford is a pilot. And Carol Vorderman flies a little plane called Mildred. Yes, there we are. So they are all pilots.
So, but is Ryanair the odd one out?
I think so.
Is she right?
She is right, yeah?
Yeah!
Right.
We've got a point! We've got a point! High five!
Yeah, they're all pilots, apart from 2 passengers on a Ryanair flight from Mallorca who were told to pay extra to take 2 pastries on board.
What? They took their own pastries on?
Yeah.
And had to pay extra?
Yeah, so a couple flying to Frankfurt tried to carry on 2 of Mallorca's speciality pastries called ensamadas. But they were told by Ryanair that they counted as extra baggage and had to pay €45 each. Harrison Ford got his pilot's licence when he was 53, but why might you want to avoid getting in a plane with him?
Oh, he's had a couple of problems, hasn't he? Landing and taking off and the bits in between.
Yeah, since getting his licence, the Hollywood star has had 5 flying incidents.
Ooh.
Yeah, in 2015, his plane suffered engine failure and he was forced to crash land on a California golf course. No one was hurt, but he took out 3 birdies, 2 eagles and an albatross. So, should we talk about Alan Sugar?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did Sugar recently admit he struggled to get into?
Television.
Back to clothing.
Pair of trousers.
Yeah. In a Times interview, he said he had to get his trousers specially made as his bum is too big for normal trousers.
Hang on. Up came a caption that said it can carry 5 normal-sized passengers. Is that his bum? No wonder he's got to have specially made trousers.
Lord Sugar gives his subsidiary companies names that are made from his initials, AMS, Alan Michael Sugar. There's his aviation company, AMSair, his digital signage company, AmScreen, and his catering company, AmSandwich. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Boxer Quarterly, the magazine for boxer dog lovers. And we start with, woman spots Donald Trump in what?
It's always bread or cake or toast or mother care.
I think it's a chocolate pudding.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Woman spots Donald Trump in her chocolate dessert.
Yes!
Let's have a look. He's the former US president in the chocolate pudding.
No.
Next, BBC article about bus getting stuck under bridge written by...
Is it a chatbot?
Yeah, it's got to be artificial intelligence, isn't it? Got to be.
BBC article about bus getting stuck under bridge written by Caroline Lowbridge.
That's brilliant.
This is a school bus in Leicestershire that got stuck going under a bridge. A statement was released saying the school is working closely with the bus company to establish what happened. Here's the bus. I guess we'll never know. Next, you know the Boxer Quarterly Kennel Club event was a success because what?
You were given a treat and called Good Boy.
Nobody died. They're going to do it 3 more times this year.
You know the Boxer Quarterly Kennel Club event was a success because people did not start to leave until gone 5. Next, Essex couple get payout after what?
Water buffalo eats immersion heater.
You know that is nearly the answer.
Oh, no, it is water buffalo or some bison or something, local sort of oxen.
What, in Essex?
Yeah. They were on holiday and they came over and they saw this and they jumped into the swimming pool.
Yeah. Essex couple get payout after water buffaloes fall into their swimming pool. Let's have a look. Next, new bus stops finally arrive in Norwich, but what?
Nobody cares. Facing the wrong way.
New bus stops finally arrive in Norwich, but people baffled by upside-down timetable. This was in the Norwich Evening News, where they included images of their reporters at the scene looking at the timetable. A Norfolk County Council spokesman said the timetables are now the right way. Yay! Unfortunately, it does mean all the bus shelters are now upside down. Next, entrants to the Pup of the Year competition were blown away when what?
Cyclone arrived. when Bobby, the beautiful boxer, turned up with extended eyelashes. Now, if that's right, I'll buy everybody a drink.
entrants to the Pub of the Year competition were blown away when the secret judge was unveiled as none other than Mike Gadsby.
You're kidding.
It's still a secret. It's Mike Gadsby.
Yeah, the editor of the magazine wrote, "I can't imagine there was anyone who did not enjoy their day."
Well, he's got no imagination then, has he?
Next, the British Army were so worried about what that they what?
The British Army was so worried about losing the Second World War that they took out insurance.
I was waiting for you to say that he's right.
The British Army were so worried about having enough bear skins for the coronation that they hired them from fancy dress shops.
That's
Wow.
Did they?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the army were reportedly doing anything to get their hands on bear skins for the ceremony, which also explains why Paddington didn't make an appearance on the big day. And finally, temporary traffic light in Gloucestershire, what?
Is not permanent. Celebrates an anniversary.
Yes! You are bloody good at this!
That's amazing.
Is that right?
Yeah, temporary traffic light in Gloucestershire gets birthday cake to mark a year on street.
He's like the Rain Man of nonsense.
Yeah, let's have a look at the moving ceremony to mark the occasion.
Is that a hearse in the background? I reckon they're waiting for the bloke on the right. What do you think? Do we have a sweet,
So the final scores are Ian and Carol have 7.
Yes.
Paul and Nabil also have 7.
Oh.
For me, that's a huge result. Thank you.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Ian and Carol have this.
SNP pick new auditor.
Government ethics advisor given unredacted access to Boris's WhatsApp.
Paul and Nabil, get this.
When they told me I was going to be the branch manager, naturally I was very...
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Carol Vorderman, Paul Merton and Nabil Abdulrashid. And I leave you with news that in an amazing coincidence in Buxton, the Bradford and Bingley and Home Pride Flower Company outings take place on the same day. In ITV's revamped Bullseye, there's concern that they've spent too much on Bully's star prize. And there's suspicion of another smear campaign against Suella Braverman as a file of speed camera photos mysteriously emerges. Good night.